How about now? Okay, much better. Thank you. All right, well, welcome to the Global Cybersecurity Initiative Conference of 2023. My name is Elizabeth Weber, and I am the president of the Privacy Law Society here at Chicago Kent. Today, we will be discussing a lot of very interesting panels, and we have a lot of very interesting speakers. A few housekeeping things. There are restrooms on this level. If you go out the doors and take a right, you'll find both restrooms, male and female, and then we do have unisex restrooms on the floor below. The Wi-Fi information is on the back of your badge, as well as up on the screen right now. You will need to register to have access to the Wi-Fi. All right. I would like to introduce Cassie Paturi, who's the president of the Pan-Asian American Business Council and the chair of this conference, to say a few words.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So, good morning. So, welcome you all for this 2023 our GCSI annual conference, and I want to personally thank you for signing up for this, and particularly, I want to really thank the keynote speaker. I kind of asked her in the last minute, and when she was on a vacation, just, she's kindly, agreed to give her message. And we start with, sessions, keynote speakers, Betsy Ziegler. She's the CEO of 1871, and I want to see that, we all should know what is going on at 1871, and so that is one of the reasons that we wanted to have her here. And we have our CISO of the Year, Walter Leffman, and he's going to give us his message and his speech. And we have lined up very good speakers. Lead Wagman, Dean of our Stewart Business School, and Ed Marcherka, and he's here. And we have Calvin. Calvin is he's the chair for cybersecurity department. So he's Calvin, and I think Ray is here. Yeah, Ray's right. And we have 4 different panels. One is discussing on compliance, and another one is resilience, highly regulated areas, healthcare, fintech, and insurance. And the third panel is like AI in cybersecurity. And so let me ask you, how many of you use ChatGPT? All right. So are you guys having any problems lately? I mean, it's last few. Okay, so that's one thing, So we're going to discuss some of those today. And another one is the cyber resilience is at sea level. That's another panel. And we have I'm proud to bring this new programming for the purpose of providing valuable and actionable information to the audience. And finally, I thank our sponsors, and without them, we cannot really make these things happen. And so we are a little bit behind, but we'll catch up. Okay, thank you.
Okay, first up, we're going to have Richard Warner join us up here. He is professor here at Chicago Kent College of Law, and his research concerns the regulation of online privacy and security. So please welcome Richard Warner.
Thank you. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce the Dean of the Law School, Anita Krug. Her presence here illustrates her commitment to cybersecurity and her understanding of the importance of the role of law in making our websites and online activity safe and thriving. Anita, please.
Thank you so much, Richard. Richard is one of this university's leaders in cybersecurity programming. We're so happy he is part of our faculty, and he has done so much to lead the charge here at Chicago-Kent. And I would like to tell you a little bit about what this university has in store and offers our students and others in terms of cybersecurity education. We have, and I want to note, these efforts are interdisciplinary. They are programs sponsored and hosted by the College of Computing, departments within that college, I should say, as well as the College of Engineering, as well as Chicago-Kent College of Law. And we are very strong at this juncture with multiple bachelor's degree programs, master's, and certificate programs for students outside of the university. And one of the leaders of Illinois Tech's cybersecurity offerings, Calvin Nobles, will be a speaker later this afternoon, I see from the schedule. And of course, Chicago-Kent's own Richard Warner is also a leader for the university. And so this makes Chicago-Kent and Illinois Tech just a perfect host, I believe, continued host. We've done this multiple years for the Pan-Asian American Business Council's Global Cybersecurity Initiative. It's such a wonderful program, and I know you will enjoy it, and so I'm just happy to welcome you all. And with the few minutes that I have left, I just want to let you know about this school's own cybersecurity initiatives, again, brought to life through our own Richard Warner, and they include a cybersecurity certificate program designed for people that are practicing professionals that may be more interested in the policy and legal side of cybersecurity. And so this program is apart from the offerings on the main campus by the broader university and our other colleges. And in addition, we are just now on the interdisciplinary front forming a student certificate program in conjunction with departments in the College of Computing and within the College of Engineering. So a truly, actually I need to double check on whether engineering is involved with this one, but it is truly an interdisciplinary program for our students. And beyond that, we're also working collaboratively with other colleges on campus to build and launch our master's program in cybersecurity. So I think this is we're Chicago's only tech university. It should make sense that we are leaders in cybersecurity education for graduate students, undergraduate students, and learners across the spectrum outside of this university who simply want a credential in cybersecurity. And it makes sense. It makes sense that we have such a strong presence in this space because this is a topic that we are all grappling with right now, and we will for years to come. And ChatGPT and other chat functions have just really brought home to everyone just the importance of technology and AI and cyber risks that are in our presence every single day. And conferences like this help enrich all of our understanding of cybersecurity and just also all of the promises of the developments in technology. So lots of good things going on out there, but maintaining cybersecurity is obviously always going to be a critical function that occupies a lot of our time in our day-to-day activities. So again, I hope you get a lot out of today. It certainly got some great speakers, so I have really no doubt that you will. And again, welcome to Chicago-Kent College of Law.
All right, thank you, Dean Krug. I would now like to invite to the stage Ray Tristad.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ray Trigstad, and I am the Associate Director of Illinois Tech's Center for Cybersecurity Education, Cybersecurity and Forensics Education, also known as C2SAFE. Catchy logo, you got to have those. I am pleased to be able to be here today to introduce Betsy Ziegler, who is the CEO of 1871. And of course, 1871 is an important part of the Chicago tech scene because it is the incubator for much that we do. Betsy is a graduate of Harvard Business School. She has an extensive career in both industry and academia. She's been an associate dean at Northwestern in their business school. And we are very pleased to have her to be the keynote speaker today. So with that, I will introduce Betsy.
All right, good morning, everybody. How are you? Good. It's a pleasure to be here, and Cassie wasn't joking. I was on a chairlift in the mountains in Colorado when my text was going off from Cassie saying, will you speak on April 11th? And I said, you're going to have to wait till I get, finish my day of skiing, and then I will check my calendar and be. Talking to the mic? Okay, oh, and are my slides up here ready to go? Do we have, there's me. There we go. All right, and can we do it on, okay. So I am not a cybersecurity, I usually walk when I talk, so I'm gonna have to. Can you? All right, you can hear me okay? All right. So sort of end with how we talk to corporate executives and what advice we give them on how they think about innovation, which of course cybersecurity is part of that whole dialogue, but I'm not going to be talking about that specifically today. You've got a bunch of experts that are going to be on path, right? We're going to talk about overall context for pace of change. We're going to talk about why your job is ever hard, and a little bit about 1871 and how you might get involved. It was noted in the introduction that we're the place where things incubate. That is true, but we've changed a lot over the pandemic. We did 3 acquisitions over the course of the pandemic. And so our mission is now to inspire, equip, and support early stage startups, growth stage startups, late stage startups, and corporates, all who are building extraordinary businesses. And so this is how it shakes out. We've got about 430 people that we would describe as early stage. These are people that are somewhere between idea and launching a business. And then about 250 that are spanned between growth stage and late stage. So are most folks from Chicago? Is that the audience? Okay. So a growth stage might be relativity or late stage would be relativity or a G2 or a spot hero. Growth stage would be Reaply, if that's a name that's familiar to you. So not quite, SMS Assist would be a late stage, and then obviously corporate is corporate. And so we now span that whole curve, and we are the only organization that we know of in the world, only nonprofit at least in the world that we know of, that covers that whole curve, where my job and my team's job is just to increase the probability of success of moving from where you are to this next point and shortening the time frame to reach it. And with all of you being engaged in technology some way or another and being cybersecurity experts, or at least deeply engaged in cybersecurity, if you are interested in helping, and we'll talk about this at the end, but helping and supporting any of these young companies or the companies that are going further, you should let me know. And my contact information will be at the end of this talk, okay? So, some of you know this quote. Some of you know William Gibson, famous sci-fi author. He talks about the fact that the future is here, it's just not evenly distributed yet, right? ChatGPT is one of these things that, with 150 million users, the fastest ever consumer app to be born, and the great breakthrough for ChatGPT was not actually the technology, but the fact that they made it open and available for regular people just to engage with it. Now, of course, there's 8 billion people on the planet, or close to, and 150 million people are using it, so we've got a long way to go. But it is moving quickly, and so we're going to talk a little bit about this. Larry Page talks about the fact that most companies fail over time because they miss the future. And why do they miss the future? They miss the future because what got you to where you are today is not going to get you forward. And you know, it wasn't that long ago, there was, some of my bio was shared. By the way, the most important school I went to is Ohio State. Any Buckeyes? No Buckeyes? All right. There's usually one. Even if they're sort of timid about sharing it, there's usually one. You used to be able to kind of look backwards and say, okay, well, this is what happened in the past, and so I'm just going to extrapolate it forward, but that can't happen anymore because the pace of change is like this. And some of you will disagree with this point. The rate of technological change will never, that today is the slowest day you're ever going to have for the rest of your life. Some of you will debate that. I'm happy to debate it, you know, in Q&A or post the conversation. But not only is today the slowest day for the rest of your life, tomorrow is going to change faster. So do you feel this in your life? Do you feel like it's hard to keep catching up? Do you feel like you're distracted by the shiny thing in the corner? I feel like I have adult onset of ADHD because I can't stay, I'm constantly bouncing. Part of that is my job because I'm surrounded by all these people that are solving very interesting problems and doing very interesting things that I want to be a part of. But that is what's happening. This gentleman in the Masai Mara has more access to information on his phone than the President of the United States had 15 years ago. Again, I'm probably not going to tell you anything that's like a huge surprise to you, but maybe tell it to you in a way that you might not have thought about it. The iPhone X, which is not this one, but you guys know what the iPhone X is, was 1,000 times more powerful than the computer that put him on the moon. A couple months ago, I used to say, like in September, October, before ChatGPT 3 came out, I used to say the fact of by 2025, we're going to have the equivalent computing power of IBM Watson in our pocket. And when you have IBM Watson in your pocket, what does that imply to you in terms of how you're going to communicate with people, how you're going to blows past that. I'm not saying that ChatGPT, I'm not comparing ChatGPT and IBM Watson, but the idea that with, you know, a couple keystrokes, I can get the computer to cut my work in half, or eliminate my work, or create a point of view. Not saying it's the right point of view, but that is out there. You all know that from show of hands before about who's been using it. If you look at the biggest companies 50 years ago, this is who they were. Not too big of a surprise. Lots focus on the automotive industry. If you look at them today, this is as of yesterday, these bounce a little bit. You know, a year ago, Saudi Aramco was like 8th or 9th. I'll give you a live example from this morning in just a second, but the winning business models don't look anything like the past. So I have a little bit of audience participation in my talk, okay? I know it's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, but we can do it, okay? So the biggest media company in the world doesn't own any of its own content. Who is that? Okay, Google or Alphabet. What else? Wikipedia and what? Disney. They own their content, I think. Netflix. YouTube. One more. Huh? What did you say? Meta, yeah, Meta. Winner. Okay, we'll see if you get the. By the way, I have the wrong. I have the Facebook logo, so we'll just have to. Facebook equals Meta. Okay, so sorry, I didn't make the edit. All right, what about? Oh, no. What about the biggest storage company in the world that doesn't own any of its own warehouses? Amazon. Most popular guess, not the right guess, but most popular guess. Google. Rackspace. Okay. What was the last one? Oh, am I changing the lights, or you guys all just got very, oh, they're back on. Okay. One more guess? Okay, this one is Dropbox. It's tricky. AWS is the most often choice. Okay, the last one. You guys, I think will know this one. Largest music company in the world that doesn't produce any of its own music. Spotify, right? So I used the app Spot Hero this morning. Have any of you used Spot Hero? So largest parking app that doesn't own any of the parking spots, right? The reason. What about the largest hospitality company that doesn't own any of its own rooms? Airbnb. So the reason I talk about this is because these are the biggest companies in the world that serve that customer segment, that have blown past any previous incumbent, that don't leverage any of the same process, any of the same, they own none of the assets. Their whole capital structure is completely different. They've approached the problem in a completely different way, right? And this is happening in every instance, every industry, everywhere. And I spent about 7 years in higher ed, as was noted in the opening, before I went to 1871.